Hello, world. Welcome to episode 201 of the Jimmy Canz Show. Classic Supercard retrospective time. We're going to take a look back at WCW Clash of the Champions 23. Um, Clash 23 was obviously, as I just mentioned, a WCW promoted event. It was held June 16th, 1993 in Norfolk, Virginia from the Norfolk Scope. It aired on TBS, was a five-match card. The action was called by Tony Schiavone and Jesse the Body Ventura. Around 6,000 in attendance for this one, so let's get into the card itself, shall we? So the opening contest was originally scheduled to be for the WCW World Television title. However, this one turned into the All-American Ron Simmons facing Dirty Dick Slater with Orndorff in Slater's corner. Orndorff had been in a car accident and could not compete at the event, so they just kind of had to pull an audible here. Obviously, Ron goes over in this audible type of matchup. It wouldn't have made a lot of sense to put Slater over in this one. And they're trying to further that uh, television title feud between Simmons and Orndorff. So this was, their what they figured was the best way to do that in this one. So that was our opening contest. Next up, we have another singles contest. You have Marcus Alexander Bagwell taking on Lord Steven Regal, who had Sir William in his corner. At this point, WCW is really pushing Regal. So he goes over in this one, but it was a really sloppy finish. It was a countered roll up where Regal was supposed to grab the tights and he just kind of slipped, and as the count started, so it just looked really, really bad. But Regal does go over in this one. And then after this one, you had a segment with Max Payne trying to return Johnny B. Bad's Bad Blaster, and then he shoots it in his face, which cancels the matchup between Payne and Bad for that night. Payne then is awarded the match via forfeit, and he's confronted by the Z-Man, and he beats down the Z-Man, and it was all just done to help further the story between Payne and Bad, and really put some juice behind their contests coming up down the road. It was to give a little teeth to this feud. So um, next up, you have the NWA World Heavyweight Championship matchup with the High Flying 2 Gold Scorpio challenging Barry Windham. Really solid contest here. Barry retains around the 13-minute mark after hitting a big uppercut as Scorpio came over the top rope and then hitting the sleeping DDT for the 1-2-3. We then have the six-man tag next with the natural Dustin Rhodes joining forces with the British Bulldog and Sting to face WCW champion Big Van Vader, who had Harley Race in his corner, along with Ravishing Rick Rude and Sid Vicious, who is accompanied by Colonel Robert Parker. This one's being done to help build up, two matches for Beach Blast. You got Rude and Rhodes that are going to be competing at Beach Blast, and you've got the tag match between Sting and Bulldog and Vader and Sid. Obviously, since you're trying to build up to other matches here, the heels end up going over in this one. That's just booking 101. They go over courtesy of a Halliburton to the back of Dustin's head, courtesy of Vader, and then a 1-2-3 with Rhodes taking the fall for his team in this one. And then last but not least, we have a match that really confused me. It was the Horsemen, consisting of the Nature Boy Ric Flair and the Enforcer Double A Arn Anderson, challenging for the Unified Tag Team Championships against the Hollywood Blondes, Stunning Steve and Flying Brian. Like I said, it was 2 out of a 3-fall contest. This is why I'm confused here. All right. So Flair pins Pillman to take fall 1. Okay. Easy enough there. Then the Blondes were disqualified in fall 2, and this is where my confusion lies. So, although because it was announced that although the Horsemen won two straight falls, Anderson and Flair would not be awarded the titles because of the interference by Wyndham, resulting in the disqualification in the second fall. And they announced that, the titles could not change hands on a DQ. Now, I'm not 100% sure, but isn't the point out of a two or three falls just to win two of said falls? Um, and the whole title can't change hands on a disqualification is just a one fall to a finish stipulation. Um, if you really wanted to, you know, further along the Horseman Blondes angle, and you also wanted to further along the Wyndham Flair thing because they're going to be facing each other here at Beach Blast as well for the NWA title. Wouldn't it have made more sense for this to be one fall apiece and then have Wyndham come out and, intentionally hit Austin or Pillman, thus disqualifying the Horsemen and giving the Blondes two falls so they retain their titles? It's just like I said, it was just the way this was executed was just didn't make a lot of sense to me. The end result, I get what they were going for, but it just didn't make sense to me. It's a two out of three falls contest. You won two falls, you should win titles. So didn't make a lot of sense to me there. But I digress. In terms of Hall of Fame involvement in the show, you had 11 Hall of Famers on the show. Race, Orndorff, Flair, uh, Austin, Wyndham, Anderson, Sting, Rude, and Vader. And then if you tack on Ventura, Bischoff, and Zabisco in commentary, interviewing, et cetera, takes you up to 14 Hall of Fame involvement. So, um, in terms of ranking this show, um, they did a good job, honestly, in setting up six matches for Beach Blast here. The TV title, and that's it's actually going to happen at Beach Blast, and they helped set that up, even though they couldn't have the one-on-one contest. They really gave some teeth to the Bad Pain match, which is going to take place at Beach Blast. The Horseman and Blonde tag team is continuing on here, although it's going to be Roman Anderson challenging at Beach Blast, but it's still a Horseman Blondes thing going on there. And then you've got the Flair Wyndham thing. Obviously, they added some teeth to that with Wyndham's interference there, costing him the title. You have the U.S. title situation, as I mentioned, before during that six-man, and then the actual tag match that's going to take place between Davey, Sting, and Vicious Invader. So, like I said, they did a really good job. Finally, with some story continuity and building to a show. This is a rarity, honestly, in my opinion, in a lot of WCW clashes. Um, but I got to give it to this clash. It really did a good job of that kind of stuff. Now, I do. It wasn't a perfect show, like I said. That the overall finish of that two out of three falls match didn't make a lot of sense to me. So I'm going to ding this one a little bit for that. But all in all, it's a really good show. So on a 10 belt scale, I'm going to give this one 8. I'm going to give it 8 out of 10. That finish there just really left a bad taste in my mouth. And then the the Bagwell and Regal finish, as sloppy as that wasn't real great either. So I dinged her a little bit on that one. But other than that, a pretty solid show all in all. So our next classic supercard retrospective we are going to take a look at will be actually an ECW show. It will be the ECW Summer Sizzler 1993. So um, keep an eye out on the channel for that one. Give us a like, give us a share, give us a subscribe wherever you are. I hope you are doing well. Take care of one another, everyone, and I will see you all when I see you.